Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go ahead, run up the throttle, select Max Afterburner, and get airborne for our weekly options brief. Holiday short, holiday. Christmas is a holiday. Christmas shortened week. So no real options, weekly options trade. I'm going to pass some intel that I got last night, early this morning, post Vinyasa. Feeling really good. Had a great session this morning. And let's get to it. Amazon, I added some Amazon, which we'll talk about clearly. Tesla covered. Leave it to Wiz. I'm telling you, do the exact opposite. When I sell some upside calls against my long Tesla shares that got destroyed when I got assigned, Elon Musk announces that he's done selling and is buying. I'm not joking when I say this. On my shitty trades, if you do the exact opposite, which it makes sense, you will make money. So I don't care. Honestly, I want those shares to be called away so I can have the cash back and do more Amazon. And SIL, I got out of my short Mara cash secured puts yesterday. It had a nice little pop, made like 700, 800 bucks. Why did I do that? Because I made 700, 800 bucks and wanted to use that margin so I could sell short calls against Amazon, which I did, which I'll show you. And I have two sets of those on right now, 33.75s and 34.50s. So nice little arbitrage going on here. This is what I love doing because look at what Amazon did. It opened, it went down to 33.75, then it went up to 33.25. $25 increments. Right now, it's pulling off of that 33.25 and doing $25 block trades. Absolutely love it. And I'm not kidding, guys. This is why we came up with the solo Amazon a couple years ago. If you just trade one name that's not going out of business, you get to know it. You eat, breathe, live, and sleep it, and you don't care about anything else, right? Old Eddie, Dr. Handel finally joined the Max Afterburner, the Lifetime folks. So that's who, for all my Max Afterburner folks, I welcomed him aboard like 3 days ago, and he popped up like yesterday going, "Hey, I'm Eddie. I'm new here." I'm like, "Yeah, I know, dude. We welcomed you through." That's how busy the guy is with his 33 positions. But he's starting to throw out his random shit. I'm like, dude, you didn't listen to me. I know your portfolio right now, and you still have like 33 positions, don't you? He's like, "Come on, man." Yeesh. I don't know. Well, I love Dr. Handel. So anyway, can you let us know when they're shitty when you place them? No. When I place anything on Tesla, it's shitty. There's your disclosure. Clearly. I'm not joking. All right. Let's go ahead and move over. Hey, do me a favor. I don't ask a lot often. I'm asking you this. Listen to this. This is Lee and I breaking down No Fallen Heroes. We're just coming out and saying it. This is a sequel to Top Gun. Period. Uh, the Exactly. I was Dr. Handel. Many of us were, and then saw the light. Uh, I've told you the past couple days what's going on, and let me share with you something else that's going on because I have a call. I have to leave a little early. I think Punch. I don't know if we reschedule it. Whatever. I got to be off at like 10:45 because one of the potential really awesome people we might be able to get on board this project. His name's Bob Parsons, former Marine. He served in Vietnam. I mean, like a Marine in Vietnam. Fucked up, cast aside. You think the VA sucks now? Imagine the VA like Vietnam, baby killers, and just tossed aside. Um, Dude became a self-made billionaire, right? Who type of person that Elizabeth Warren calls a freeloader, right? Um, did some brilliant things. Did PayPal? He's donated like $10 million to Walter Reed to like the Traumatic Brain Injury Institute. Here's what I'm getting at. Ponch, who's just an incredible, a great American, but just doing some great work digging around. Talked to a former Navy flight surgeon. Guy served like 30 years as a carrier type of guy. Knows everything. Ponch gave him a quick brief about what we do. And the guy's like, "Yeah, I know Bob Parsons pretty well. I work with him or this or that. He donates money." And we're like, "Oh my God." And then Ponch gave him a little bit of, "Well, here's what we're doing." And the guy's like, "Holy shit, how far along are you guys? This sounds like awesome." And we're like, "Well, we're kind of just getting started." So we have a call with this guy today, man. So met with Ferg last week. yeah, here's Tom Cruise's cell phone number and Jerry Bruckheimer. What do you need? I told them both to fuck off a couple times, and they love me for it. I'm like, oh my god. So maybe we got Paramount and Tom Cruise. Maybe we have Bob Parsons, and he's just our. I mean, the guy doesn't even blink writing checks. And with this No Fallen Heroes project, I just couldn't be more honored. We might actually take a sixth guy. They have room for six, and an old S3 buddy of mine out in San Diego sent me a message last night. He's like, dude, do you have any more room? I mean, we're going to have more room, quote unquote, because this is a movement, and we're doing that No Fallen Heroes extraction. Wiz, heard your podcast today on the film you are putting together. Not sure if that group is full yet, but I am helping out a Naval Academy classmate, Hornet Buddy, with some of this work. So far, ketamine and just did first psilocybin journey. If you have space for him down there, he would be interested. It would really help save his life. Got that last night. So this is just I'm humbled. I'm honored to be doing this work, and the more good you do, the more good you do, right? And the more good you do, the better people feel, the better this world ends up being, man. So I'm really excited about everything that's going on. The guy, I don't know if he did PayPal or GoDaddy. He's a tech billionaire. He was a Marine grunt, right? Marine enlisted dude in Vietnam. Amazon down $25 to $3,400. Hung out. Now it's going down to $33.75, where my short calls are. Love it. GoDaddy. Okay, so maybe I should study this shit before I get on. Well, so we're talking to this doctor guy, and then he's like, "Yeah, I can get you to Bob. I mean, I can get you to Tom. I can get you to Bob." Now, let's be honest. Worst case scenario, you guys are fucking retarded. No, I don't even want anything to do with you. That's the worst case scenario. The best case scenario is, how can I help? And then we can really, really, really save lives. I mean, I've never experienced anything like this. This is a once in a lifetime opportunity with Maverick coming out, which is gonna. When Ferg's like, dude, we all hated Top Gun. He's like, where do you see this thing? He's like, the flying scenes. It's no CGI or anything. Everything was done. He's like, even the cheesy, it's parallax. He's like, even they, Ferg's like, don't do the inverted thing. It's awful. They're like, nah, we have to pay homage to the first thing. So he's like, even that was done in the jet, but not, they used parallax on the camera. But he's like, everything in the airplane, everything was done in the airplane, man. So anyway, you got it, JT. It's about leaving the world a better place than when you found it, man. And that's my mission objective. All right, let's get airborne. I love Elon Musk, man. I did say I'd love to change the Constitution, and I mean that. If we are going to change the Constitution, let's not change it to invent the killing of children. Let's not make up it's in here somewhere. How about we change it to let great Americans be president? At its heart, wokeness is divisive, exclusionary, and hateful. It basically gives mean people a shield to be mean and cruel, armored in false virtue. I want to let that sink in, Senator Karen. What I saw yesterday, I didn't see it live, but I felt that I experienced it live because I was at the gym and I'm watching the Max Afterburner thread, just watching. You guys were watching Joe's press conference, and but I watched it later because I had to. And his press conference, which I'm not supposed to be having. Who's telling you you're not supposed to be doing things? If you're not the most powerful man in the world, who is? Who is running this country? They told me I can't do this, or I can't have any cat food later. I'm not joking, guys. Who is giving him orders? Because I didn't vote for that. I guarantee you I didn't vote for that person. Yesterday's press conference was hateful. It was divisive. It was exclusionary. He was mean. If you got vaccinated, Merry Christmas. Have a great time. If you didn't, you're a fucking murderer. I hope you die. You're going to kill your loved ones, and you're going to clog our hospitals, you piece of shit. If you voted for this person, you're the problem in this country. That was hateful and divisive. Do you imagine Ronald Reagan giving a speech like that? No compassion, no love for your fellow American. If this were about fucking health, every speech would lead with get outside and get some fresh air, exercise, eat right, have a good diet, take vitamins, comma, I wish you'd get the vaccine. Nope. It ain't about health. Stay at home, put a face diaper on, and take this thing that we in pharma agreed with. You're not allowed to see the results for 55 years. Why? Because people like you, Wiz, will be dead, and your children who were indoctrinating will be nice little brown shirts. That's what's going on in this country. It's horrific. This is not the republic. We, the people, gave a government, maybe we should have a government, let's limit its powers because we just came from a shit show and a king. Let's limit our government's powers. Good idea. Here the fuck we are, getting yelled at by a king. The Build Back Broke plan. All the Democrats are fuming. AOC, it's time for him to use his executive authority and just put it in the law. What the fuck did you just say? What did you just say? This is Barack Hussein Obama 3.0. I got a pen and I got a phone. I don't need the Congress or the Senate. They said Donald Trump would be a tyrant. Everything they said Donald Trump would be, he was not, and they are. I've had it. I grew up in New Jersey. I've lived in Florida. I lived in Texas. I lived in California. I lived in Illinois. New Jersey, Illinois, and California, absolute shit shows right now. Texas and Florida, paradise. I just came from a vinyasa, folks. 40 people in a room, sweating all over the place. My mom, Matthew, I don't know if you can come up. You're not vaccinated, and it's New York, and this and that, and your sister, would leave the house with her kids, and I'm like, wow. 18, 19-year-old kids storming the beaches of Omaha, man, getting mowed down. 25% probability you died on the beach at Omaha. This thing, 0.01% chance of you dying, and you were fucking destroying this country. I've had it. I mean, I like respectful truth over artificial harmony. We're not even getting respectful truth. We're getting mean, nasty, old man yelling at you. This is not the United States of America. Literally, ladies and gentlemen, it is the divided states of America. Why? What is so radical? Oh, you're an insurrectionist and revolutionary. What? Hey, pal, this country was started with a revolution against tyranny. May I remind you, they signed that fucking document in a smallpox epidemic. You want to talk about an epidemic? It's smallpox, folks. Holy shit, how horrific can that get? Coronavirus? Okay. I had it. It sucked. I lived. If this were about health, they wouldn't be streaming tens of thousands of potential virus-carrying Democrat embryos into this country and then putting them on planes and buses and flying them to Texas and Florida. God bless Ron DeSantis, who is like every illegal immigrant. He's passing a law. They're going to vote for it and make it law. They're going to put like $8 million in the budget to bus any illegal immigrants that are sent here to Delaware. We'll do what you're doing. We'll just drop them off. How about in front of his house in Delaware? I'm sorry, guys. I was just laying in my final Shavasana just going, I can't even. We're sweating all over the place, and my mom's like, you can't come up here. I mean, I'm like, Mom, you have no idea what's going on with the world. I can't even. Unbelievable. Yep, rated 3,400, man. I'm telling you guys, do this over Christmas. Sit here and do a little Amazon research, man. Make your life easier. You can day trade the shit out of Amazon. Look what it did today. I'm busy ranting here, but down to a $25 point, up to, let me drop my 25. It's over here on this screen. Let me do it on this. 34.25. It moves in $25 increments. Now it's decision time. It'll either go back up to here or down here. You can trade these $25 swings, and it's easy money. The only downside is every once in a while, what happens? Like yesterday, you get the Amazon crush. In my experience for the past couple months, that's a day. Then it usually takes a break. But I love doing this. Just keeping my eye on that left screen right here. Yep, we'll talk about why I bought some more Amazon in a couple minutes. This is really interesting. In 2021, we had a record of inflows of money into the market. By who? You. People locked up in their basements trading on Robinhood. The super wealthy have been selling at the highest rate ever. This should tell you something. New Zealand, I have a buddy, one friend removed from you probably know who it is, but bought like half of New Zealand. On the dude's place, he's got like two airports on his own place. And they can do this, right? When you're a billionaire, you're like, you know what? I'm going to cash out. Time to go to New Zealand, buy a massive part of it, because that's where everybody's going, folks, right? When the balloon goes up, it's New Zealand. That's the place to hide. That's where they all went. So it's interesting how the billionaires are exiting this. They know what's coming. From Obama to Trump and now this dude. It has been a death spiral downhill. Love or hate Donald Trump. The guy turned the lights on in the kitchen. When he went to D.C., he turned on the lights and he showed us where all the roaches were. You're telling me that the most Americans in history said, no, turn the lights back off. We like it that way. You're going to convince me that happened. Nancy Pelosi. The 2016 election was stolen and hacked and Russians and oh my. 4 years later, this is the most secure election in our nation's history, and if you say otherwise, you're an insurrectionist, treasonist. What? Anyway, I just think this is, and we'll talk about this in a couple. Well, I'll slide over to it now. What's going on as well? Companies plan to pour even more cash into buybacks and dividends in 2022. After a blowout year, finance executives plan to go on rewarding their shareholders and see little chance of a slower economy or tax rise denting the momentum. So, you know my prediction of what I think is going to happen. Well, let me get to that eventually. I have to cover these two things, and I want to give you the links that you read them. The New York Times, this ain't the Wall Street Journal, this is the New York Times. The New York Times finds Obama's most precise air campaign in history killed thousands of civilians. They made public hundreds of the Pentagon's confidential assessments. These are the Pentagon papers. Part 2. You would not believe how many people, innocent people, we killed. Mission unaccomplished, describing a failing U.S. military as awesome. I was in it. I got friends who are still in it. A private who loses a rifle suffers far greater consequences than a general who loses a war. Which is not the military I know, and it's definitely not the Navy I know. The Navy I know is if the ship runs aground, the captain gets fired, not the dude driving the boat. The seaman apprentice, who is the youngest person on the board on the ship usually. The most junior person on a submarine is the one who drives it. Let that sink in. And there's for a reason. But folks, this is General David Petraeus, the best military in the world by far. This situation won't change anytime soon. His one-word characterization: awesome. I read this great write-up. I forget. It was a left-leaning site. I don't care. I read everything, man, and let me decide. I read everything. But it excoriated like General McChrystal. What an absolute failure General McChrystal is. He's so much of a failure that he has the McChrystal Group. 60 employees. He charges like 150 grand for a keynote. He's got consulting and what? The guy failed miserably and was a liar and got fired, but he didn't get fired for sucking. He got fired for saying, Obama this, Obama that. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'll give you both these. Read this one. You want to know why military, active duty, and veteran suicides are going through the roof? Is because of this. Anybody below the rank of colonel could have told you what was going to happen in Afghanistan over a weekend. Anybody below the rank of colonel could have told you, wait a minute, the military is leaving and we're giving up Bagram. It's like an hour of flight time to China, to Chinese nuclear plants and weapons facilities, and we're gonna leave it. Iran's over there, Russia's over here, China's over here. We're generals and admirals who suck get rewarded. This is our country. General Milley's a disgrace. I'd love to meet the guy one day because I'd say it to his face. Who gives a shit? You're a failure and a fraud. I can't. If my God, if I was that guy, first of all, I wouldn't have been that guy because I would have been like, if Biden's like, everybody out, period. We need to leave Bagram. We need to keep Bagram and 5,000 troops. We haven't had a combat. Do you remember this? We hadn't had like a combat loss in like 18 months. And we owned Bagram and we're keeping the enemies at bay. No, leave, General. Bad things are going to happen. That's an order. Okay, I'm going to give that to my deputy because I resign. He didn't have to do a press conference. He didn't have to do anything. He probably could have just said, you know what? I can't follow that order. I did that in Chicago. Hey, man, I think it's an unlawful order. I got to leave. Okay, now we're going to destroy you. Okay. This is our America now. Lloyd Austin, Secretary of Defense, lost Afghanistan, killed civilians, killed Marines, soldier, corpsman, still has his job. The CENTCOM commander, the 4-star Marine who's like, yeah, this is my fault, still has a job. I'm not shitting you guys. When a private is held more to account for losing a rifle, we left $85 fucking billion of military equipment to the enemy. Not one person has been fired. The people responsible for killing 7 children who were looking for water and 3 adults. This is the divided states of America. Read this, please, over a cup of coffee. This you don't need this link. This kind of dovetails into this because it talks about the most precise air campaign ever. Obama's drone program was awful. Much like tenured faculty at a college or university, senior officers are intent on preserving, the prerogative they already enjoy. You guys, Eisenhower was right. It is a revolving door between the deep state, the Pentagon, and the defense military complex. General McChrystal, all these failed generals. Make your bed, dude. Admiral McRaven. They all got soft under Obama, man. You did not make general or admiral under Obama by not being an Obama acolyte. And yeah, read this one too. U.S. military. Look at this picture. The Chinese are shaking in their boots. Look at that picture. U.S. leaders have enabled China to fund the rise of its military while presiding over the decline of ours. Read this one too. Take summer holidays because this all has a segue, man. Trust me, I do my pre-brief prep. What am I segueing to? Right? Sophomore year. Because Mike, I'm getting your question. Mike had a great question over here. Like, hey man, I need some red teaming right now. So Mike, I'm going to answer your question live. Because he's like, hey man, bullish, bearish, where are we type of thing. So I saw a great tweet the other day. It was yesterday. This guy had both Wall Street Journal headlines or CNBC headlines from like this week. Markets crash on Omicron fears. Markets rise on Omicron fears going away. It was a day apart. You guys were with me when 2-3 months ago or whenever ago, remember this laugh? Everybody laugh with me. I think it was right back here. Right here. Markets crash on Delta variant. Markets rise on Delta variant going away. I'm like, they cured. I said these exact words. I'm like, they cured Delta overnight and then smash. That's okay. And then we debriefed over here. I'm like, next time you hear an Omicron variant, we're not using G, right? Kai, we're not using XI because that might offend G. We're not calling the virus a name of literally the dude who released it on the world. Joe Biden talked to Xi Jinping 4 times this year, never even said the word COVID, never said the word virus. I'm going back to Wuhan virus or China virus. Anytime I use this going forward, I will change how I say it. Remember 3 weeks ago, the South African variant. Oh, okay. We can call it the South African variant. We can't call it the China virus. I will. But here's where I'm coming to, folks. Build back Beijing. Exactly. So here's what I'm getting to. And we already talked about, hey, big buybacks next year. Hey, Q3 GDP rose today to 2.3 and final, more than expected due to upward revision personal spending. And then yesterday, Monday, Goldman Sachs downgraded our GDP because we didn't get Build Back Better passed. Right now, folks, if your neck doesn't hurt from left, right, up, down, sideways, actually, if it doesn't hurt from being up, down, left, right, sideways, you're at peace with yourself, which is me. I absolutely don't care which way the market goes, up, down, or sideways. You guys know my personal preference. I'd like it to be up. People with 401ks, people that don't actively manage, people that aren't you and I sitting here who trade $25 Amazon swings. I don't like people getting hurt. Anybody. I don't even like my enemies getting hurt, man. People shoot at me. That's their job, right? So let's talk about projecting our thoughts forward in space and time. There's only 2 things that are going to happen. Joe Biden's sophomore year, let's give 3 cases. Let's say, you guys already know my base case. It will be a shit show. You've seen what 12 months have gotten you. Did you hear him yesterday? Oh, Omicron caught us off guard. What? Here, let me do a little red team. There's going to be 90,000 other variants coming. Did you hear the White House? They had to clean up some of the shit. Even Kamala. Kamala's going a little off the reservation. Pun intended for Senator Warren. They're starting. Are they going to go get good cop, bad cop? Because Kamala the other day was like, well, let's not blame people. She was trying not to blame China, but she was trying to steer away from blaming the unvaccinated. I'm sorry, the vaccinated are spreading. How can somebody who doesn't have it and is unvaccinated like me spread it? I only spread it if I got it, right? Then, so it's funny. It's technically the vaccinated that is also spreading this thing. But I know you guys don't want to get into the semantics. Here's my point. Let's go out the next year. This time next year, man, a couple things either happen. It was ops normal, meaning it sucks. Joe Biden gets on every once in a while. First of all, do you think in the next 12 months, unless he joins the No Fallen Heroes Project, do you think his cognitive abilities will get better? Do you think Joe Biden in the next 12 months will get nicer? We won't see an angry, bitter old man yelling at the country yesterday. The answer, most likely, ladies and gentlemen, is of course no. It's going to get worse. What is going to happen in the next 12 months? Guess what happens in about 3 months? Campaigning. Not only for midterms, but guess what's going to happen? You're going to start seeing either Kamala, Pete, or God help us, Hillary Clinton, start maneuvering for 24. Folks, and I can't believe that 2022 is spelled like this. I'm sorry. This is how you say next year. 2022. I saw this meme. It's got this guy like with his hands in the air, like when you realize that 2022 is actually can be written 2022. I'm like, oh no. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm giving you what's going to happen, in my opinion. Then I'm going to red team what I said because to help people like Mike, because you really have to be sitting here going, oh my God. Well, let me lead with, I forgot to start like this. You guys know, unless you just showed up today, you have to know that is your first answer. Whenever you see me do this on the screen, folks, usually with a big question mark, I have no idea what's going to happen. Literally, folks, my call sign is not Nostradamus. It's Wiz, and it has nothing to do with intelligence. If you've had at least 10 drinks with me, maybe you got a demonstration. So I'm not Nostradamus. I'm Wiz. And when I go, I have no idea what's going to happen. Usually that means to move to cash. You do not have to be in the market. You guys know over the past year, I've diversified. I own 2 fucking fighter jets, man, worth whatever, $750,000. I own things that have fill in the blank value. This place has doubled in value, man. This is insanity. I shit you negative. Maybe once every other week, I get a phone call from a realtor like, my buyer just drove by your house and said they'll buy it. I'm like, great. Here's the number. Wow, that's obscene. Yeah, but the current value is obscene. So click. One person actually came back and hit my obscene number, and I said no. And the lady's like, well, thanks for wasting my time. I'm like, so let me get this straight. I could only move to a place for that same obscene number. I'm not going anywhere. You can bury me in the backyard. Or actually, did I share with you what I'm doing with my I actually want this recorded. What's December 22nd, 10:32 a.m. Last will and testament of Matthew Buckley. Maybe of sound mind, definitely of sound body. You ready for this? I think it's in my will. If not, this is my legal record. Cremation, and you ready what we're going to do? Cremation and my ashes are going into gunpowder. And we're going to the beach and we're doing a fireworks display on a night with a full moon to some beautiful music, man. Some Avicii, some Tiesto, and it's going to be an awesome fireworks display. That's how I am going out. I'm glad I got that recorded. So step 0 in all of this, that is pretty cool, isn't it? Yeah, gunpowder, fireworks display on the beach, nothing sad. It's going to be a party. Folks, it's a celebration. This bag of flesh finally is gone, and I am finally free to be the soul that I am, the soul that I got to experience and see on the medicine. Honestly, I thought it was going to be something silly. That sounds pretty cool. My mom, the devout Catholic that she is not happy with that. She wants a box and that type of stuff. I have to support my mom, but I'm like, she looked at me like, Matthew. I'm like, Mom, well, you'll be there. Anyway, so step 0, guys, go to cash. Get out of your positions. If you have this, you're trading wrong. Well, Wiz, if I go to cash, I might miss out on the rally. Roll inverted. Whenever you say something, folks, this is the way I've become an average trader. I'm not going to say great, best, whatever. I'm going to say the way I've become an average trader is by red teaming everything that I say. But if I go to cash and I'm wrong, I miss out. How do you miss out? If you're initially wrong and it's like, oh my God, peace, love, and understanding has broken out this year. Jesus, Ganesh, Buddha, and Muhammad came back to life. Get in. If you miss a little bit to the upside, oh darn. Let me red team thee, but I missed out. What if we implode? What if Wiz is right? Joe Biden's sophomore year is horrific. China, Taiwan, Russia, Ukraine, Israel, Iran. You have got to put your radar outside of Build Back Broke, Omicron, this, midterm. You got to go. It's how we trade here, folks, at Top Gun Options, SOT. What is your strategic outlook? Folks, if the lira, I didn't even brief you on this. I've been following and doing shit, but if the turkey lira shit, anybody remember a small place called Greece a couple years ago? Well, a couple years ago, 8 years ago. Remember the Greek debt crisis? World markets imploded. Why do I care about what goes on in Greece? You don't, but your portfolio does. So, folks, if you have FOMO, you're doing this wrong. I trade now, like if I miss out on something, I go, I'm happy for the people that were in it. Old me would have been like harumph and angry. I don't care. I don't have FOMO. It's dead. If you have FOMO, you're trading wrong. I know that's not my opinion. It's fact. Whenever you have FOMO, say the exact opposite to yourself. Well, they could have also done this because it's the truth. Okay? So, step 0, cash. Peace, love, and understanding. All right, now step 1. Always have step 0, guys. Oh, you should have this stuff written down in a trade journal. I'm telling you, man, I got journals all over my office. I love rereading. Step 0, cash. Period. Step 1 is to run to Ma. Even if you think it's going to be so, Ma takes care of 2 cases. Let's do a little split here. Ma takes care of what? FOMO, but it also takes care of shit show, and it also takes care of bull. So look at this little diagram. If you believe, Wiz, you're right, sophomore year is going to suck. This is going to suck. But I got a little FOMO. I might want to hang in. Take a look at Amazon. For the past 20 minutes, Amazon sat at 3,400. Why? Because people, institutions, machines are doing exactly what we're doing right now. This is your end of year, because some Santa Claus rallies happen in the last couple weeks of the year and into the beginning of January as we wait for Q4 earnings. So Santa ain't dead. It might be delayed. That was hot. So if you believe shit show, run to quality. Run to cash. Cash money. Go to cash. Well, that's not cash. That's kind of like cash. Microsoft prints money. Amazon prints money. The last earnings, I think it was $1 million a minute. Show me another business that makes $1 million a minute, especially during Omicron lockdown. Don't go to the mall. All right. I know the 5 Amazon dudes by name that come to our house. Hello, Mr. Buckley. I'm like, dude, sorry. Yeah, the Amazon guys are apologizing to me because of the people in my house. Susie's like, why don't you just go sit outside and work and not look out the front door? I'm like, okay. If you believe a shit show's coming, run to Ma. That also takes care of the bullish case. Because if I'm wrong and sophomore year is great, those names are going to be money. And we know about Apple. Apple's got China risk. Broken clocks right twice a day. You ready for this career call? I will be right one day. There you go. Apple will get destroyed one day. I guarantee it. At the height of the China virus, they named Apple as a company they're going to clip if Trump did knock it off. We saw Tim Cook go to the White House. I forget when it was. Somebody can Google it. It was before Christmas. It was like September, October, November, whenever it was, because he begged Donald Trump to stop, at least take a breather, to not destroy Christmas. How do we know this? Because they admitted it, and Trump loved it. Tim Cook came and kissed my ring. Hey, you know what? So I'm not going to fire the next round of tariffs in front of Christmas. Great guy. Me, I'm talking about, not Xi, not Tim Cook. Me. I'm a great guy. Merry Christmas. Do you remember this? The foreign ministry of China said the words Apple. So when, not if, when China, the United States has a one China policy. Nice job, peanut farmer from Atlanta. When they go to, since the Chinese are listening, and I salute my dear overlords, since they will reclaim what they believe is theirs, what are we going to do? Joe Biden said, well, I'm going to, just like economic sanctions. You have massive China risk with Apple. You have next to zero China risk with Amazon, because they're starting to get in there. But what did Jeff Bezos do 4 years ago? I love this move. Can't compete. Baba, whatever, the JD, whatever. I'm going to India. I'm going to take over India. Amazon owns India. It's going in. You ready like this? A virus. Amazon is seeping into China. But if China woke up tomorrow and said, Amazon, get out, they're not going out of business. Apple would be in trouble. I went through my Top Gun options folder over here, and I could not find the article. I will find the article because I need it for me being right one day. There was an article on Zero Hedge that detailed when they did the I'll throw Apple out if Trump does knock it off. There was a great article on Zero Hedge. They interviewed Chinese people, and it was a great expose about how people were hiding their iPhones. I can't bring out my iPhone in public because it's like anti-Chinese right now. Does everybody remember this? Right? Tesla has China risk too. I love it, Werner. Okay, so let me get back on my little checklist here. 1, cash. 2, run to Ma. And we had, that takes care of a shit show, and that takes care of, hey man, bull. Step 3 is to go nuts. Let me write that. In the Battle of Bastogne, General, Montgomery? No, I think he was an Irishman. Who was the General of Bastogne? 101st Airborne. Oh my God. When the Germans said, we demand your unconditional surrender, he wrote the word nuts. McAuliffe? I got it. I was close. What did I say, Mick? Did I say McAuliffe? I am a World War II historian. He wrote nuts. And the Germans were like, the fuck's that mean? It was a little. So this guy was a teetotaler, Bible beater, and he didn't like to curse. Very religious guy. That was his curse word, nuts. Go nuts. And oh my God, when was the Battle of the Bulge? It was Christmas. You are learning so much today. I am just overjoyed. You go nuts. And what does nuts mean? Go nuts. Throw some Mara on there because Bitcoin's going to rally. Buy some crypto. Go nuts. The only way you can go nuts is if you believe that when, not if, and we haven't talked about this. Now I'm getting to the threats of go nuts. The threat to go nuts, folks, is FED. One of the reasons we've seen these massive implosion shit shows over here are because we all know, because we live in the world, Joe Biden doesn't, Jerome Powell doesn't, Janet Yellen doesn't. They don't drive their own cars. They don't do their own shopping. They have Secret Service protection. They live in the Potomac bubble. They don't know inflation's raging. They look at briefs that their staff gives them. They're not going to buy a Christmas tree. They're not at Costco in Boca Raton, which is awful. It's the definition of hell. Susie came back the other day. She's like, oh my God, I wanted to kill people. There's a lot of God's chosen few in Boca, baby. And he's like, don't you think if you were old, you'd be nicer? Like you're running out of time. Anyway, folks, inflation's raging. You know, I predicted a year and a half ago, I'm like, you got to stop, Jerome. You got to stop now. Stop now. Stop it, and you got to start raising interest rates. Ignored it. We had these goofy Fed meetings this year, like, haha, maybe this one we started thinking about talking about considering tapering, but we didn't. Maybe the next one. We got to the point 3 weeks ago, it was like, transitory's dead, inflation's raging. We got to taper double faster, and we have to, you know, raise interest rates. So, folks, before I finish my go nuts, I would not go nuts. Again, I told you what I would do. I'm not telling you what to do. I can't tell you what to do. You have to decide what you do. I don't fly your airplane. I fly mine. So, here's the deal. I think this is insane. That's why I called it nuts. I've been wrong before, man. It's been known to happen. But if you think you have got to, if you want to go nuts, folks, you have got to believe that the Fed nails it. And I'll be honest, man. I'll be honest in both ways. I think there's a distinct possibility they do. And then there's a distinct possibility that they've never done this before in history. So this is a gamble. Number 3 on our nuts, on our checklist is nuts. And that's why it's called nuts. Can this happen? That the Fed nails it? Yes. I can't believe the last time I saw Jerome speak, he actually said this: equities. He more or less didn't say the word stock markets, but he's like, I know that what we do kind of, let me talk like he was talking to me. Dude, we watch the market. We know that if we go ape shit, you're going to go ape shit, and that's going to be bad. So you have to make a decision. Will Jerome Powell do his job? If he is to do his job this coming year, the tapers has to stop. And he already said that, like, really quickly, February. And you might get an interest rate increase in March. But if this is known, which he said it already, did you not hear me? Right? He testified and said this stuff, and the market kind of went, oh, you. And then he said it again, and the market was like, oh, shit. And now we're kind of rallying again. Again, the market only cares when it cares. I believe the market will really care when this happens. This is all words, folks. We all kind of do this freak out like, oh, shit. Okay, let's go higher. We haven't gotten to the real oh shit moment, folks. Like, oh shit, he's really doing this? Folks, I'm not kidding when it's a punch bowl. With all these assets that they're buying, that liquidity goes somewhere. When you start taking liquidity away, like for real, shit moves for real. Do you get this? Good. So again, not Nostradamus, I'm Wiz. I don't know what's going to happen. They can engineer a perfect landing and I'll eat my hat. I don't even know what that term means, but I will. Because I like being wrong and things go well. I loved being wrong about North Korea getting attacked. You don't put 3 carrier strike groups off a country, tell a dude you're going to kill him. I will rain fire and fury down on you. It was just like when I had my deep throat in the White House tell me, he's like, dude, he's going to shut it down. He's going to invoke the whatever act. I'm like, holy shit. And I told you. I'm like, dude, what? He changed his mind literally walking down the hallway. Same thing with North Korea. He was gonna do what he said, rain fire and fury down. Dude, what happened? He sent him a picture from a UAV with a dot on his forehead. Trump's like, I'm just gonna kill you. And then the North Korean said what? Well, he's got a dead man switch. When his heart, that's isn't that great to know? They're bluffing, of course. Let's just say a little birdie told me the North Koreans were like, well, he's got a dead man switch. If his heart stops beating, the nukes automatically launch. That should keep you up at night, not Omicron. Like, okay, great. So if he randomly has a heart attack when next time he's doing heroin and the dude dies, the nukes are going to launch. So Trump was going to do it, man. He was going to kill him. But I don't know if Trump believed him or not. I never got that deep with whoever I talked to about this. But anyway, So, Mike, I hope that helps a little bit. Kathy, are you microdosing? I am high on life and a good cup of coffee in my old sharpshooter's mug. This mug used to have my wings on it and my call sign. All you can see is the Z. That's how old this cup is, but it's still got the patch on the other side. Awesome, Mike. So it really is so Mike, I think let's thread the needle. This, pure cash really doesn't do anything for me. I ain't going nuts. Run the Ma. And guys, Run the Ma's worked for a couple years. Make your own acronym. Throw in your own stable names. The point is that your number 2 right here should be a combination of number 1. You ready? Which is what? Cash. If you're not in cash, go into names that are printing money. And I'm just most familiar with those. I also like running to Ma because why? That's where a lot of other people run to, or smart people. Folks, when you're an institutional trader or portfolio manager or hedge fund manager, or you run your private office, going nuts can pay off if it pays off. But other than that, man, it's better to, at the end of the year, be like, well, we were in Microsoft, Apple, and Amazon. That's kind of conservative, right? And to be honest with you right now, I'm not saying Amazon's conservative at all. Let's go look at the damn chart. It's been a little shitty. You look at Amazon year to date, and it's level. I mean, I've had a blast trading the shit out of Amazon, up, down, up, down, up, down, but it's level. But we looked at this on Monday. What does Amazon do? Couple year run, a year off. A year run, a year off. Down? It can happen. It won't. Up. Can it do this in a Joe Biden awful shit show? Yeah. Look at how awesome I am. That's a perfect segue to what? Tactical. So what did I do this morning? I bought 5 March Whiz. Yeah. Because I'm doing, once these Tesla stock gets called away from me, I'm going to have what, about 20 or 50 grand, whatever it is. I'm going to have about 60 40. 60% is going to be in Amazon and that SIL, that ETF, and about 40% cash. So, where did I end up? I'm ending up at about number 1 and 2. You know what? I technically 1, 2, 3. Why? Because you know what my nuts is, so to speak? It's SIL. I mean, it's only 11 grand, but it's also down 5 grand. This is kind of my nuts. Hey, man, psychedelic. I got some psychedelic shit in my portfolio. So you know what? I didn't even see that come together. I have 1, 2, and 3, or I will have 1, 2, and 3 by Saturday because I'm going to let these Tesla calls get called away. Wow, big pop there out of Tesla. I'm going to let these calls get called away, or the shares get called away. Andrew, I'm thinking of the handful of members who buy Amazon Leaps once a year on a crash and then make over 100% profit. Andrew, my solo Amazon testimonials folder is full of people who do that. So this is what I did. I went out to March. I have February. So look, I'm staggering, guys. I have January, February, and March calls. Okay. And they kind of do what? This should be 3,600. I squeezed the wrong trigger. I have 36, 37, and 38. Just in case Amazon does what it usually does around Christmas. End of December, we get a nice pop right before earnings, and then it smashes. So, and I like how I drew this because it went right through what I want to do. So before earnings, if we get this run up in earnings, I'll probably close out the Jans. I have to close out the Jans. Why? Because Amazon earnings might be the end of January or beginning of February. And those calls might be expiring. So I'm probably going to manage these. If we get a good Amazon pop, I told you I'm going to close those first. Then I got the Febs. Then I got the Marches. I'll probably keep these on through earnings in case we get that nice pop. I will exit these because no matter what you believe, I believe February will be a shit show. I'm already hearing people talking about it. It's not that far away, guys, when you think about it. This time next month will be a gray day. 5 former fighter pilots will be in an undisclosed location on a gray day, man. That's only a month away. I'm stunned. I have a lot of journaling to start doing. You got it, man. Last February was a shit show. It was awful, guys. This year it could be wrong. Yep. This year it can be wrong. However, I don't think it will be. Okay, good. I want to make sure I'm not missing my call with this doctor. Okay, good. Ponch, let me know where Dr. Kaufman is his name. Good stuff, man. So there I am. I'm an open book. You guys know me. Exactly. 5 fighter pilots in one room. I don't think the ego is going to fit, Graham. I think you're right. Goose, Valentine's Day Massacre. Yep. Karen, I think the shit show will start early in January. That's what happened before in the past. Karen, what usually happens, here's what happens is we get this Santa Claus rally. So let's say that's January. This is February. We get a Santa Claus rally into mid-January. We hover, and then it's a smash going into February. 31 years of doing this, that's 90% of the time what happens. 10% of the time doesn't happen, and that could not happen. I'm going to be ready for this. I'm going to be 60-40. Okay. And especially, guys, and I can't stand Jim Cramer, but he said it the other day. He's like, if this Omicron thing's going to get worse, Amazon's definitely the place to go even more. Duh. So I'm really, 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 I'm happy where my sales are trimmed, and I just feel that we're blessed. No, well, I think Amazon literally is moving the way the market is thinking right now. Nothing. Instead of these big $25 moves, when Amazon does this, it's a coiled spring. When it does this for like an hour of indecision, it's either going to explode or implode. It did it yesterday. It does. This is what I do, folks. I sit here and trade Amazon. So I'm not doing anything. Every second that I rambled to you today, I got theta on these calls, these short calls. I'm holding these 33.75s out to tomorrow. They're bringing in 10 grand. And then I sold some more. I sold these 34.50s to tomorrow. They're bringing in $5,800. So there's about 16 grand right there in Amazon short calls, potential profit. Yeah, the bias is a little bit up right now. You can see it in Amazon. It's kind of maybe a little slow climb schedule. VIX or Goose just pointed out the VIX is kind of coming in a little bit. This is a little bit of indecision. And remember, folks, the volume before I got on the air, the volume sucks right now. It's low. Remember when I was in Chicago, or all my buddies, our calls are even canceled. People are done. If you're trading in Chicago, New York, or London right now, you're the junior guy or gal. Most people I know are in Aspen or in the Bahamas or St. Martin or wherever. The partners ain't trading right now, man. They're done. And as soon as whenever we left, it was you looked at the junior people and said, "You fuck it up, you're fired. Do no harm," right? The hippopotamus oath. So we should kind of hang through tomorrow. You shouldn't see some massive stuff. That makes sense. And especially since we're doing this, I think maybe a little bit of I wouldn't be surprised if we get a little bit of 46.50 hanging or love to make a little bit of a base or a little bit of a back to the 50 here before a leg higher. I want to be wrong, guys. I have a lot of Amazon on, man. I'd love to see an Amazon or Santa Claus rally, but we'll see. You got it, man. I was in Aspen this time last year, man. I loved it. I was going to make that an annual thing, and then I just got. We're gonna do. We're gonna do, man. We'll do a. We're gonna get back in. We had live events scheduled, and then the rest of the United States got scared. Not here in Florida, man. Florida and Texas were wide open. It sucks. The Panthers canceled a game, but thank God they did, because the last game they played was horrific. They got destroyed by the Ottawa Senators. They had to call up 5 dudes from the, and it was guys in the COVID protocol. They didn't have it. They were near somebody who had it. Did you see the NFL? The NFL's like thrown in the towel. They're like they're changing their protocol, and it's not tighter, it's less. I think professional sports is starting to wake up. I actually didn't mind it last year, especially when we had the box, because there was like 30 people in the whole stadium. You could hear the guys, what they were saying and yelling, and the plays they were calling. It was awesome. Nobody in the parking lot. Now it's a shit show down here, man, especially the Canadian games down in outside of Miami. It's all the snowbirds. I feel bad for the Panthers because it's like a home game for the away team. And the Flyers, the Philadelphia Flyers, come down to play a game. All these Eagles fans, rude people from Philly and Jersey. Yeah, Tahoe would be great. I'd love to get back to Tahoe. 8 feet of snow coming to Tahoe. Oh my God. Wow. That's insane. Yeah, I'm playing VXX by selling cash secured puts and covered calls until I can't. I like that. That's a nice tactic. Hey, we had a good thread going in the Ready Room that Goose started. Go throw your thoughts on there. So if you didn't throw anything in the chat box, or you got some stuff to add, there's a good thread in the Ready Room here. Yep, starting at maybe we'll get a run to 34.25. Right here, Cash Flow Stock Challenge 2022. Share your shopping list of quality companies. So if you get some time today, or anything's coming to you, go in here and drop it. Great forum for us to exchange these type of ideas. I love it. So it's in the chat box right there. Ages ago, Eric, I went to Park City. It was weird in Utah. You had to join like a club to order a beer at the. I never got the whole Utah thing. Like in the ski lodge. Well, if you want to order a beer, you have to join this club. I'm like, what? And my dad always said I would never be a member of a club that would have me as a member. No, the March calls, I probably wouldn't trade in and out of those. No, these March and February ones, I need to start managing these 3580s. We need Amazon to get, what are we at, 3418? I don't know, end of year Amazon. I'd love to see 3600 on these. That would put a huge smile on my face. But no, I'm managing my my short calls. We'll see. Yeah, this might be an Amazon liftoff. It does, as I tell you guys. See, just trade one name, guys, and you'll get to know it. Whenever it hangs out for like an hour or 45 minutes, it leads to something. It's liftoff or implosion, and I trade it. But you got to be ready for this. Remember, like a couple months ago, when I was in San Diego, like getting ready for the Vets event, we had like 3%, 5% days hang out, another 5%, 4% days. I'm like, whoa, we need more of these. I like these. When it does one of these get on the horse, I got to get out of those short calls better. But I like this little chop here, man, because it really does feel like it's setting up for that. I feel it. I thought yesterday was a monster run. We had from Amazon's low yesterday to its high was like $100+ bucks. Yeah, we went from, look at this. What's that? 33.13 to 34.13. It was $100 move in Amazon yesterday. I think we even said that during the brief. I'm like, that's, you know what? Remember this? This is why I got out of that Mara. I got out of the Mara and I tried to buy the calls down here. If I bought whatever, I didn't. If I bought those calls that I wanted to, which I did this morning, these things would have been crushing it today. So trading Amazon, folks, you gotta be comfortable with that. You gotta be comfortable with those swings. It's not going out of business, folks. It prints money, it loans money to God. It's a solid company. So if we're gonna get a Santa Claus rally, what name do you think is going to outperform? It should be an Apple. It should be an Amazon, right? So I put my money where my mouth is. I got, how much technically? About 75 grand worth of Amazon positions on right now. All right, guys, I'm good. That's kind of what I'm doing, and I'm thinking that was a good 2022, man. I hope that helped Mike out and some of you guys who are sitting here kind of with a question mark. Hopefully that answered it. There might be more scenarios than 0, 1, 2, or 3 than that we put out, or it was 1, 2, 3. But step 0, man, just go to cash. If you have some awesome winners in your portfolio from 2021, go to cash. If not, run the MA. Or if you think I'm completely wrong and next year the Fed's going to manage everything perfectly, the market's going to digest everything perfect. It can happen, guy. Wrote it up there. It's a possibility. Everything isn't bad, Wiz. Okay, great. Then go nuts. Go nuts, man. Up on your whiteboard, you should have a couple nutty names. And that's not nutty to me. Compass, Atai. Go in the psychedelic space. Go. Especially now when they're cheap. Folks, when, not if, No Fallen Heroes is just an epic success in saving lives and raising awareness, and that industry is finally legalized. I rarely use these terms. Unlimited upside. Big Pharma is going to have to jump into this space. And the care around this, right? Even the ketamine therapy that's legal, it's at a clinic, there's doctors, there's nurses. There will be a whole infrastructure around the psychedelic space. The coaching, the consulting, the everything. We will have, I'm putting it out here to the universe, we will have No Fallen Heroes centers, veteran centers throughout the United States. Yoga, mindfulness, beautiful settings where we can do journeys for a weekend or however long it is, man, 7 days. That will happen. That is in my journal before I did Ibogaine the first time. I'm like, I want to see what my next chapter is. The final chapter of my life. I'm writing it, and that's what it's going to be. It better be in the United States. If it's not, I'm getting a place in Mexico on the beach or Costa Rica or wherever, in a country that actually is smart. United States. Even the FDA starting to come around. Some jackass in the 80s or whenever it was, psilocybin has absolutely zero medical benefits. Everybody today who's got a brain, psilocybin can actually save your life. The U.S. government still a Schedule 1 and doesn't have it. The FDA is actually having studies now. The VA is actually doing studies. So whoever the dick was who wrote that sentence, who's probably retired and maybe not even alive anymore, was just an idiot. What basis do you run that on? Hunter S. Thompson and that weird guy are saying that it does. Clearly it doesn't. War on drugs. Another war which the United States has lost. But let's keep throwing money at it. And daily video feeds of Wiz's rants. You got it, man. We'll do No Fallen Heroes retreats, and I'll still get my rant on. Hopefully we won't. Hopefully, man, we don't need to rant because everybody finds some peace. Like I showed you with the quote from the monk, man. The only reason I'm putting the ladder down. I mean, Mitch and a bunch of other guys who are TGO members, who want to do the medicine. We're helping our civilian wingmen and wing women out as well. But this guy nailed it, man. Veterans are the light at the tip of the candle, illuminating the way for the whole nation. But if we can achieve awareness, transformation, understanding, and peace, we're going to share that, right, with everybody. And the reality of awfulness. And we're going to teach everybody how to make peace with ourselves and each other so we never have to use violence again. Could you imagine if Xi Jinping and Putin kind of felt like this? So, yeah, and to those who support vets, absolutely. Yep, looks like Amazon's getting ready to make a run, man. I love it. But remember, Amazon makes round trips too, baby. I've seen Remember that one week I had some short calls on Monday down here, and it did this. And by Friday, it was not only below those short calls, it was all the way down here. So this is your typical Amazon week, right? Until it does this. So I got to be careful with these short calls right around now. If we start to get a massive Christmas rally, I got to get out of those short calls. But tomorrow is a low volume day, Christmas Eve. So we'll see. But yeah, we'll still do a brief tomorrow. All right, guys, I got to go. I got a big day ahead with a bunch of phone calls on the No Fallen Heroes project. Do me a favor. Like I said, listen to the podcast. Give me your feedback. Shoot me an email. Wiz at Top Gun Options, man. Let me know what you think. More importantly, let me know if you know anybody. Like, even if we don't get to this guy, we have a ton of other potential investors. I still am going to give my sister shit. She runs Dune Capital, man. I'm like, oh my God, my sister runs Dune Capital. Anybody ever hear of a small company called Dune Entertainment? Not that I'm going to put that on her, but and between us ladies, I actually don't want to reach out to my sister. I think she's a break glass in case of emergency. I know she might be pissed if I don't, but maybe we get like a investor first and then I go to her or something like that. My point being is this: do me a favor, listen to that. If you know anybody who would be a great partner with us, who wants to save lives, who thinks the project's great, give me an email. I'll shoot him the pitch deck, and I'll hook you up with however we take care of everybody who's in this project, man. So, all right, guys, good stuff. I'll get this replay. Yeah, exactly, Andrew. I might put that. I might use my card another time with my sister. Exactly. Maybe we just do the movie on our own, and they come out and support the No Fallen Heroes, the TV show Extraction. Good point. So, all right, guys, have a great rest of your day. Happy hunting, literally. Make sure you're hedged, and God bless. Namaste. And remember, namaste means what? The divine in me recognizes the divine in you. I recognize the divine in all of you, and God bless. I'll see you tomorrow, and then we're going to have a Merry Christmas. Cheers. Fights on.